Jumanji, the video game, is a very bad game. Not the worst thing I've played this year, but it's pretty up there. It's a third-person shooter, which we'll jump into the gameplay of in just a moment to show a little bit of that off. But first and foremost, I wanted to address something important, because this is the most egregious thing about it. The back of the box tells you that only you and 3 teammates can recover the jewels and save Jumanji. So get online, gather friends for split screen play, or go alone with AI companions. That's verbatim from the back of the box. And on the back of the box it says, 1 to 4 players local, network players 2 to 4, PlayStation Plus subscription required. Now, you can double check my math by going to the end of my full playthrough of this game, which took 1 hour and 20 minutes. There is no option for online games. There is the main menu, which has play, training, heroes, settings, and profile. Your profile is just your stats, which shows that I played the game for a whole hour, 21 minutes, and beat all 4 levels, because there's only 4 levels. Heroes has the stat screens, where you can do stuff like change the colour of your weapons when you unlock them, or change characters to be palette swaps of the same character. Training is just the tutorial. And in the play option, there are 4 levels: the Jungle Hideout, Mountain Fortress, Night Pursuit, and Bazaar Bazaar, of which Night Pursuit is a night version of Bazaar Bazaar, because they use some of the same bits of the level. So it's only really like 3.5 levels if you're being generous. You can change your difficulty between a bunch of different options. I beat all 4 on medium difficulty, dying twice in the entire process. And you can turn the AI on or off. Let's jump into the Bazaar Bazaar, because it doesn't matter really. And you can play as one of 4 different characters who have got pretty much the same guns. They're slightly different. And they've got similar melee attacks. But like, there's no multiplayer here. Like, there is straight up no multiplayer for online in this game, despite the back of the box outright stating that there is. So yeah, 4 levels, each of which plays out in exactly the same way. It's a third-person action game where you walk around, you shoot things, you can melee things, and each level plays out in exactly the same format. You have a kind of an open world-ish section where bad guys will be randomly standing around. Oh, and the camera angle often gets really up in your face when you're doing the aim down sights. And you have to walk around and find the 4 Jumanji pieces. And then you have to stand near an obelisk while holding the jewel of Jumanji, which if you hold it too long hurts you. So you have to keep passing it between your teammates, which in online multiplayer or co-op play would actually give it some sort of modicum of strategy. But like, I'm playing on medium right now, and like I say, I died twice while learning how to play the game. It's just boring, because it's literally the same thing over and over and over again. Like I say, I managed to finish it in 1 hour and 20 minutes. It's just this. You walk around these... See, they'd probably like to describe them as being mazes, but they're really not. They're just... There's a couple of different corridors you can go down. And there's some bad guys to shoot. And yeah, I like to stand in the way and take shots as well. And then once you've found the 4 keys, when you have to find 4 game pieces, then you go up to this door. You wait for the AI to catch up to you, because sometimes they take a while, because it's only the person holding the jewel who can actually open this door. And then you have a bit where you have to stand next to this obelisk. Crucially, the character with the jewel has to stand here to be able to progress, so at the moment, Mouse has it. So he has to stand next to the obelisk for it to trigger, and keep filling up a little bar. The AI has a habit of not standing next to the dang thing, so you end up having to wait for longer, fighting infinite waves of bad guys who just start spamming grenades at you, or big brutes who you have to fire like your entire ammo capacity into to murder. Weapons feel inaccurate and bad to shoot, and of course you can't keep a hold of a gem for too long because it will hurt you, so you have to pass it on to the AI after a certain amount of time. You have very little ammo capacity, melee attacks feel anemic, grenades are utterly worthless. They're not only difficult to use and aim, but they take a good 5 seconds after you throw them to actually detonate. So trying to actually hit something with a grenade, it's almost impossible. Each of the 4 characters has a special ability. So like I've got a music box that stuns enemies or nearby because they have to dance. The Rock has a ground pound. Jack Black has got healing waves. And Mouse, I think it's Kevin Hart? Kevin Hart, isn't it? Has got a monkey that he throws out. That, as far as I can tell, does damage to things, maybe? But the AI is really bad at using the abilities. Like, the Rock will often use the ground pounds when there's enemies 30 feet away.
Nice. I can shoot again.
There's only about maybe 3 lines of dialogue for anything you do, like picking up ammo or picking up a Jumanji piece. So you hear them all the time. And then after you do an obelisk thing for the first time, you get a trap room. There's generally 2 trap rooms on each level. And this is about how complicated they are. As you look at the thing, and then you time it, and then you move.
So we have 1.
Which isn't even correct, because like we're carrying 2 at the moment. See, that's the thing, is like, not only is the inane dialogue repetitive, but it's often not even correct. And every single trap room in the game is the same pattern of you go through 3 sets of traps, picking up a Jumanji piece each time, and then the last one is just sitting off in a corner on its own because they couldn't come up with a 4 set of traps for you to go through. And that's it. That's the entirety of gameplay. You have seen the entirety of this game because you do that. You pick up Jumanji pieces, you charge an obelisk, and then you go through a trap room. Then you have an hour open world area to find Jumanji pieces, then an hour obelisk, then an hour open world area, an hour trap room, an hour obelisk, and you're done. That's it. That's the game.
Duel ain't working with my weapon now.
And the entire time bad dialogue plays, bad combat happens, the AI becomes completely worthless, often having problems such as their gun disappearing from their hands.
Weapons back to normal.
Yep. I'm glad. Oh, no one sounds anything like what it's supposed to either. It's just, this is a bad video game. If you want to see more of it, like I have played the entire thing on, it's up in the channel, but don't.